Pathmark is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, or over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmark qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmark to your website in seconds, by letting the AI do all the work and increase conversions while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmark.com. Everybody, welcome to today's episode of Pathmark Presents. Today we're joined by Shivani. She's the chief strategist at AltVibes.com. Shivani, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Uh, More than happy and excited to get this going, Shivani. People don't know this, but it's been a long time coming. We've had a couple of schedules, behind the scenes, and then but I'm happy and I'm excited to have you here today. And maybe Shivani, we start with the basics a little bit. What's the big idea behind Old Vibes? And if you were explaining this to a friend over coffee, how would you describe what you do?
Right. So I usually do that a lot. I do ex describe my business to a lot of friends. I describe AltVibes as a curated e-commerce platform, which operates in India, but we do global scouting, and the idea is to bring the best in homeware to Indian homes. So we operate in four categories, which is kitchenware, barware, home decor, and tea and coffee products. So you can think of brands like Hario for coffee lovers and OXO for the home chefs or Riedel for the wine connoisseurs. When we started, we set out to solve a very specific problem, which was the education gap in the Indian market about why a glass shape matters. The traditional business that we started with was importing glassware brands to India, specifically Riedel, which is, as you might know, about wine, varietal grape glassware.
Mhm.
So, educating wholesalers and retailers, and then B2B and B2C customers alike about why a glass shape really matters. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about how a Bordeaux breathes or how a Riesling hits the palate. And over the years, as India's wine and coffee markets grew, Alt Vibes also grew with them. Today, we're not just a trading company, we're more about experiential luxury. The idea is that more and more people want to bring luxury home, and you want to experience little joys in the little things inside your house, be it a nice, colorful Le Creuset pot, or whether it's, Hario's V60, W60 kind of coffee gears for those who really enjoy their coffees at home. So, our goal is to help bring you the same level of sophistication and joy inside your house that you would probably feel when you go to a cafe or a hotel. And that's where Alt Vibes came.
Nice. I love it. And just as a side note, I've studied over the holidays. La Creuset came out a lot because I gifted my wife with a set of pans and pots, and and it's one of the best brands. So I'm glad to know that you guys treat that and in a way have it as an option, right?
Yeah.
You touched on this for a second, and maybe we can deep dive just for a minute about your customers, right? Which type of customers are the best fit for your products, would you say? And is there anything that you think sets them apart, as in, you know, um, maybe that they have a specific product or there's something that's more popular among your website, just overall, just to get an idea of, who buys from All Vibes.
Right. So we have two parts of the business. One which deals with the offline segment in India, which is traditional retail, modern retail. And then there's the online part of the business called altvibes.com, where we, of course, deal with the end consumer ourselves. But if we were to look at the industries that we touch, it ranges from stores in India, which would be an equivalent of a home sense in North America. So it's called Shoppers Stop, to all the way up to five-star chains that are looking for
Mm.
high-end products without really getting into the logistical nightmare that is that when you're bringing in products from across the world. So we solve the access gap essentially for our end consumers, and we say, okay, we'll make it happen. We'll keep the inventory. And whether it's a Horeca client or whether it's a retail shop in Delhi or whether it's the end consumer who just wants to have something they saw online, but they don't know whether it'll be available in India or not. we kind of try to bring such products to India once we know that there would be a demand for the customers.
Got it. Okay. And how do these people discover you? Like, because many times whenever I speak to leaders like yourself, there will be a specific marketing channel that's outperforming all of the others. And
Yeah.
so, is there anything that had become your go-to for bringing in more clients?
Yeah. So, it's very popular to say that, oh, we did it organically, but that was not the case for me at all. I'm going to be very honest. India is very competitive and
Hmm.
you have to pay to play. So, there are two parts of how I would see how people find us. One would be through precision, and precision meaning reaching out to people where there's an intent to buy. So, we focus very heavily on Google performance marketing. And we haven't really pivoted into creating really high quality video content yet. So I don't spend a lot on social media just as yet because I know that's a very visual platform. Plus, we import almost 20, 30 brands from across the world. So it's a lot of heavy financial investment, when we get into video production. So we haven't really gotten there. But Google Performance Marketing does really well for us. On the other side, we've been lucky that we get great word of mouth referrals. So people who have already come to our website, who finally, so one of the problems in India is that people don't know whether what we're selling is authentic because the market is flooded with spurious products. So once they do get to know that we're selling them authentic products, then you will hear a lot of my customers coming and saying, "Oh, a friend recommended or a family member recommended your website." That's great. And one of the most surprising things we saw end of last year was some random person had posted on Reddit about a deal that was going on our website. We haven't like promoted ourselves on Reddit at all, but the communities are so highly engaged. So let's say there's a subreddit called India Coffee Lovers, and then they
Mhm.
saw a deal, and we actually had a viral moment where we sold out of a very popular product within 24 hours. So that was I mean,
Nice.
Reddit is something I would like to experience in the future for sure and explore how we can use it more. But yeah, that's been a great way for people to find us.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Well, congrats. And I'm sure you want to explore more now because
Yeah.
especially, after that first virality moment, that gives you confidence and definitely something else to explore. But I'm curious, how much of a role does your website play in your overall e-commerce strategy? Where do you see, in terms of obviously, this, for example, this virality example came from Reddit, and it all pointed to a specific product or a product line, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Where does your website sit in terms of importance in all of this?
Yeah, it's extremely important. I feel like so India has a lot of third-party e-commerce platforms on which we're available as well. So your Amazons and then the indigenous platform players like Tata Click, etc. And they all have their niche audiences. Like Amazon is a little more price conscious people. Tata Click is probably more luxury people. So we have those presence in the market, and it's great for discoverability. But one of the things the website does for us really well is what to do once somebody has come to our website for the first time. How do we bring them back again? So that's where the website plays a great role because then you can implement loyalty points. You can give them emailers if they've agreed to that. And another thing is then the website becomes a tool for me to actually learn about the products that are working. What are people saying? The reviews that they're leaving? What are they not buying? So, of course, there'll be products that sell really quickly, and then there's some products that sit in my inventory for a very long time. So, it also helps me understand what kind of new products should I be launching? What kind of categories should I be looking at? What
Mm.
kind of categories do I now need to retire? Using a tool like Microsoft Clarity is great because it also helps me understand, how my users are actually journeying through the website and what are they really searching for. So yeah, I'd say it's one of the major places where I get a lot of feedback without really speaking to my customers or my target audience.
Yeah, based on behavior, right? So you understand what they're doing. Yeah, totally. Well, we're all about that at Pathmonk. So yeah, I'm with you 100%. Um, from your experience now, you just touched on it, loyalty points and how do you bring people back? But what do you think actually makes a website convert in the first place, right? So how do you get those first visitors or returning visitors even to convert? And maybe there are some, again, you just mentioned Clarity, Microsoft Clarity, but maybe you have other tools you rely on, or maybe even frameworks or little tricks you have up your sleeve that you could share with us to yeah, just to let us know what makes a website convert.
Right. One of the things I've found out in the last 3 years and how we differentiate ourselves from other people who are selling similar products online is through curation. And that has been one of the things that we've always focused on. Understanding the fact that people don't really know what they're looking for most of the times, especially if you come to buy a wine glass in India. You don't really know what a Bordeaux glass should look like. You don't really know why a Chablis should be drank in a certain place, in a certain
Mm,
container. So we use that insight to actually divide the whole website, all four categories, in heavily curated segments.
mm,
So you can go on the website and you can search our products through rooms. So you might be in a mood to redo your living room, so you'll find products according to that. You can do it through interior vibes, wabi sabi versus boho versus Japan design, anything, right? So if you have that kind of a set mindset and you're looking for products that match those things, you can do it through that. We've also bifurcated our products through activities. So whether you're going picnic, barbecuing, there are certain things for that. We also have a wine tasting kit. So then now we've created an activity saying, hey, do you want to, like, if you want to host a wine tasting event at home, these are the products you should probably have. And then, of course, there is curation through drink types, so champagne, cocktails, etc., etc.
mm.
And the same goes for coffee, kitchen, meal preps, right? So all of that has really helped our customers find our products in an easier manner. We have always tried to keep our products very limited so that our customers don't experience choice paralysis, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Compared to a place like Amazon. But at the end of the day, it is a business, so you don't want to add more products. So the only way you can do that, according to me, for my business is to make it as curated as possible, and that's really worked. The other thing you also caught on to that are using tools which kind of help us get feedback from the customers. So using a review website, a review tool on the website, or using loyalty points or Microsoft Clarity. And off late, one of the biggest problems we have is bot traffic. So figuring out how to get rid of that, because the website is just bombarded with a lot of bot traffic of late. So we use a few tools, just the one actually to block bot traffic. It's been doing well for us. So yeah, those are the things.
Okay, thanks for sharing. And admittedly, I don't go on a lot of e-commerce websites myself.
Okay.
Besides, I need to buy some, maybe a gift or something like that. But I buy from Amazon maybe, or a couple of things. I'm a simple man. But with that said, I love the idea of rooms, right? I think that's really brilliant. Like, you've categorized and curated by room. If I
Yeah.
saw that on a website, just from a UX perspective, I think we'll be really impressed. So I'm gonna go check it out. And at this point, I suggest our audience does too, because dividing it by room makes you see things that you might not even consider. If you just were to go on a mega menu, of those things, and maybe get lost, or maybe on a search bar that doesn't get you exactly
Yeah.
thinking about
Yeah.
what you might need, right? So that's really cool. It's really cool. Shivani, we're about to switch gears for a second, if you don't mind. We're getting into the back half of our episode together here. So I want to talk about you, if you don't mind. And I'm sure our audience is also curious. To start with, what's a typical work day look like for you, and what's a day in the life, right? And maybe I can ask a few other questions as we go along, rapid fire style. So we start with this one. Maybe we talk about, the three main things that you focus on when you go to work, or however you want to phrase it. And then we go into something a little bit more interesting, that
Uh-huh.
I think both you and myself can enjoy, but also for our audience. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure. So
Okay.
you want me to start with what my top three tasks would be on a daily basis?
Yeah, what do you focus on? What gets you excited, when you go to work?
What gets me excited is seeing reviews from customers every now and then. So that's probably the first thing I start my day with. Usually they're great, so I get a kick and I feel good about the work that I'm doing, which I think is very necessary when you're running a business because there's
Mhm.
very few things that you get that give you that validation. Unlike a job which gives you a promotion every now and then. So I make it a habit that whenever I start work, the first thing I see is whether I have any emails or DMs or reviews from customers. That's my first priority to get sorted. The team is anyway doing whatever needs to be done on a daily basis, but that's the first thing that I do.
Mhm.
The other thing is that I've realized that a website literally works like a human body. So you kind of need to do checks almost every day to ensure that it's still going on fine. Because initially, when I started, I was like, oh, it's set up and it's all good. And now I can focus on other things. And then you get to know, no, it's lagging, or no, there's something broken, or a link is not working. So initially, I wanted somebody else to be in charge of the QA, but I realized that now I've just figured out how to do it very quickly. So the second thing I do is I'll just go on the website and I'll make sure is everything working fine? Are people able to make the purchase? No links are broken. Doesn't really take a lot of time, but it just gives me that satisfaction that all right, everything is
Nice.
good out there. And so there's one part of my work which I really like, which I do maybe on a weekly basis, and that's to go out on the websites and look at new products in my categories. So, which new product has gotten the Red Dot Design Award? Do I want to introduce it to the Indian market? Are there any other products which are really unique, which fall under the segments that I sell, which would be of interest to my customers? And once a week, I'll put them down and I'll see if I can reach out to the companies and see if they're interested in entering the Indian market with me. And the last thing is ensuring that my financial status looks good. So I kind of have to look at where am I giving too much discount? Why did something happen? Sometimes some things are broken. We're already giving a discount and then there's an additional coupon code and you realize that, oh, you actually ended up making a loss on that sale. So yeah, that's the more heavy part of my job. But I kind of have to do that as well.
Got it. Well, look, I love how you sum it up so quickly, and it sounds like, yeah, totally manageable, totally doable. But the reality of that is even just doing QA is a job in itself. And
Yeah.
so it's impressive that you can focus on these three separate things, and I'm sure there's a lot more that you focus on, and just do it like that because clearly you've been doing it for a while, and you know how to do it. But props to you. I mean, it's a lot of context change and switching tasks. So I'm sure that takes a lot of focus and being able to compartmentalize the what you do, just switch on and switch off for the right thing. So
Yeah, it's
kudos.
one of the reasons I wanted to enter into a business is because I started my career with corporate jobs and I realized that every day I'm doing the same thing and I just enjoy waking up and having some kind of autonomy saying, okay, today I want to do this. And then you have that space to say, okay, you can do maybe the creative aspect of work or you can do a little more serious work.
Of course. Okay, so there's a lot of content out there. Now, when it comes to consuming content, do you prefer watching, reading, or listening?
All three.
All three? Okay, so
Yeah.
what's the latest piece of content? It could be a book, it could be a podcast, it could be a video that you picked up. Was there anything in it that really stuck with you?
Yeah. I read this book called The E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber, and I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. And it was highly recommended, and it's been notorious for the name because it sounds a little blah, but it's a great book because it talks about how most founders aren't building businesses, but they're just creating high stress jobs for themselves. That's the key, takeaway in the book, or the problem statement rather. And the core idea is that you have to build your business as if it were a franchisable blueprint from day one. So it should
Hmm.
be able to work even if the founder or the person who is very most attached to the mission of the business is not there. It should be able to work, with the lowest skilled person in your company. So, how you do that is you create systems in place and you create blueprints, and then you ensure that the businesses work through that. I'm sure something that you would have seen in that movie about McDonald's. I'm forgetting the name, but it
The
was all,
founder?
yes, the founder.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so currently I'm trying to apply this to my work because one of the traps that founders fall into is that they're almost always too obsessed with doing things right by themselves. So now I'm focusing on creating systems so that even if I'm not there, even if I'm out and away, things are very consistent and my customers continue to get exactly what they would have expected if I was doing it.
Of course. E-myth, is it?
Yes.
E-myth. Okay, that's going to my Kindle samples for sure. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Um, Shivani, if you had a magic wand and could fix one frustrating thing in your life with tech, could be related to marketing, operations, whatever the case, what would you pick? What would you fix?
I'm actually glad you said magic wand because what I'm gonna say is actually a little further away in my like in the reality of things. But one of the struggles that I have is that I just told you I sell a lot of products which need to be seen and felt, and there's a sensory gap that comes into play when you're selling things online. So I don't know whether it's AR, VR, mixing them, giving haptic feedback. I don't know whatever it is, but I would ideally love for my customers to be able to feel what the products feel like while sitting on their screens. Because that's one thing that retail has that online retail doesn't. And that would be a great use of technology.
I agree. I mean, it would be good if you could like get an idea of like I'm just thinking about apparel and fashion, but sometimes I buy clothes online because I
Yeah.
don't really like going to shops. And if I see something, then how would it look like on me instead of doing the whole thing? That's the parallel I'm thinking, right? How would it
Yeah.
look like? How does it feel like? What's the material like, the fabric and whatnot? So I'm hoping someone out there is thinking about it and you just sparked an interest in maybe there's something already and you get a slew of vendors in your
Yeah.
inbox soon, but who knows?
Let's hope.
All right, very good. Shivani, I want to thank you for the conversation. I want to thank you for being on the show with us today. I want to also give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is the one thing they should remember about the work you guys are doing?
Oh, I think they should just remember that we very strongly believe that happiness begins from home and little things can spark joy, like Marie Kondo says. So we're just helping you scout the best things to put in your house so that you feel joyous every time you look at them.
Amazing. That I love that. And let's close with that. But also, if someone of our listeners, some of our Indian listeners, let's say, want to check you guys out, where can they go?
Yeah, altvibes.com, altvibes.com, and they should find us.
Too easy. All right. Go there, everybody, if you're listening. And again, Shivani, I appreciate you being with us. And I think this was a really insightful conversation. Just, the way you think about things and the things you do at work. Just knowing that you do QA and then, it's, I think, again, that really stuck with me. So thank you. I appreciate your time. And maybe we can do this again soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Rick. It was nice to finally be able to connect.
Likewise. All right. Bye, everyone.